Hello everybody, Tall Paul here with Left-Handed Knife Reviews, and today we review of this, the QSP Parrot, model number QS102-A. Let's get right into it. First up, we're going to have our facts and figures. This is going to be a 3 1/4 inch blade in D2 steel, running on a set of washers. The scales are made out of G10 and are affixed to stainless steel liners that run the full length of the handle. The handle measures in right at 4 inches, and at the time of this review, this knife sells for $20.97. I'm going to put some items on the table as the exact dimensions of the knife will appear on the screen. First up, we have our Dixon Ticonderoga pencil unsharpened. We will then follow that up with another QSP, the QSP Penguin. We will then go to another budget option, the Civivi Elementum. We will then go to the Ontario Rat model number 2, all very similar size knives. And then we will jump up a couple price categories and go to the Benchmade Bug Out. Next up, we will talk about Larry and my experience while using the knife. The Parrot was surprisingly nice to use. The G10 has some texture to it. The size of the handle definitely gave us enough room for our hands, and we were able to hold the knife a couple different ways comfortably. The knife deploys really well with the thumb stud and has a good consistent lockup. Overall, this knife was very pleasant to carry for review. So let's take a look at what the Parrot succeeds at. This knife is $20. When I purchased this knife, I wanted to get a knife in 440C to compare it to the other knife steels that we've been experiencing. Blade HQ had this knife listed as 440C. So when I got it, to my surprise, it had come in D2. After reaching out to QSP, the blade steel on this knife going forward is going to be D2, which for $20 is fantastic. For a $20 knife, this blade is incredibly well done. The drop point blade is well ground, and coming in at 3.25 inches, it's fairly sizable. This knife also has a really good action and some nice touches that you miss on knives of, this price category, like a sharpening choil and some jimping along the spine. Next up, let's take a look at what the Parrot struggled with. The one major struggle with this knife for us was the ergos. This knife is straight as a board and isn't going to win any comfort contests. This knife does have a nice spot for you to rest your thumb on the top, and it does have a little bit of a finger choil here that you can put your finger in. But overall, the handle's a little bit on the small side, and the pocket clip does give a couple of hot spots. Also, with this pocket clip, I was always worried about bending it. This is not a feeling that I normally get with pocket clips, but it does look like this is one of those spots that they definitely made some cuts for cost. In the end, we never bent it. It was just a feeling that we had. Next up, we have our points of note. Points of note are neutral things that we want to mention, but fall in that gray area between successes and struggles. Pocket clip is not a deep carry pocket clip. There is a lanyard hole present, and it is a little bit on the smaller side. This knife is also a little heavier for its size. 3.1 ounces for 3 1/4 inches of blade is good, but with the overall height of the knife, it kind of feels like it should be less. Now for everything that's left. In part of the knife review, we talk about everything left-handed. This knife deploys well for either a right or a left-handed individual. The cutout for a right-handed individual is a little bit more generous than for a left, but I had no issues deploying this knife with my left thumb or my right thumb. Pocket clip is reversible. for tip-up carry only. And when it comes to the locking mechanism, it is a liner lock, so you can have your normal left-handed liner lock problems, but I found this lock to be incredibly easy to manipulate as a left-handed individual. It is very smooth, which did cause, some loss of purchase here and there, but overall, the amount of force it takes to get the lock over, it's not a whole lot. Not a super strong lock, but easily manipulated with one hand as a left-handed user. Overall, Parrot, very friendly for left-handed use. Let's talk about our closing thoughts and recommendations. You got $20. You're looking for a knife. This knife is passable. Previously, the lowest amount we have found to be acceptable to spend on a knife that you're going to rely on a daily basis is around $30. At $30, you start running into your Ontario rats and your penguins, which are really good knives. This, for $20, is a pretty good knife. We think that you should spend a little bit extra to bump up to something like the Penguin or the Ontario Rat Model 2. But if $20 is all you got, I don't think this is going to disappoint. You're getting a D2 blade with G10 scales that operates as it should and isn't overly cheap or obnoxious in any way. This knife also has a reversible pocket clip and operates well for left and right-handed individuals. Like I said, there's a lot to gain by investing that $10 or $20 to bump up to the next bracket, but this isn't going to be unsafe and it's not going to dull after one cut. If $20 is what you got, this is a good way to go. Thank you very much for joining me today. Be sure to subscribe for more great knife content. We'll see you next time.